What?
Hi, welcome to the December 3rd, 2024 Village of Buchanan Board Meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with Thank you, everyone. So we're going to move on to the approval of minutes for October 1st, 2024 board meeting and October 22nd workshop meeting. Are there any questions, comments about the meeting, the minutes?
I have none.
I'm good, Mayor.
Okay,
I'm okay.
all right. So I'd like to make a motion to approve October 1st and October 22nd. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Comments from the floor, agenda items only. No comments from the floor? Okay. Under new business, the first is a resolution authorizing appointing the deputy treasurer. Whoops. Do we have a resolution?
Yes, you should.
It does say resolution, yes.
I
Thanks.
wrote one.
Thank you, I have one. Thank you very much. Okay, whereas the village board is desirous of hiring a full-time deputy treasurer to assist in the daily operations of the finance department and to fill a current opening. And whereas the village board, village administrator, and village treasurer have conducted interviews with several candidates and recommended the appointment of Dominic Evangelista to this position. Now be it therefore resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Buchanan approve the mayor's appointment. It's just the mayor's appointment or the board's appointment of Dominic Evangelista to the position of deputy treasurer at an annual salary of $75,000 effective December 4th. We start at 8:30, Dominic, so we'll see you at 8:30, 2024. And all other terms and conditions of employment will be as per the village's current personnel policies and procedures. Be it therefore resolved that said appointment is subject to a probationary period of 12 to 52 weeks and the approval of the Westchester County Department of Human Resources. So Dominic has been attending our meetings. We've seen you a couple of times here. And I'd like to make a motion to appoint Dominic Evangelista as the deputy treasurer. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Dominic, it's up to you. Would you like to come up and say a few words? You have some family members here. If you'd like to introduce them. Because I'd like everyone to see, there's going to be a new face in the village hall, so.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity. And thank you to Marcus, Cindy, Sharon. You've been very transparent throughout this process. I really look forward to getting to know everybody in the community and serving you all to the best of my abilities. My wife is here with our little nephew who's I live in Peekskill. They're from Buchanan, so he'll be showing me around, I guess. But and my parents as well. So thank you all, and I really look forward to meeting you all and learning more about you guys.
Welcome aboard. We look forward to having
Thank you. Okay, the next is, we had a discussion regarding parking on Tate Avenue. We are going to continue that discussion this evening, and our engineer, George Palmer, is on. I know you had sent us a diagram today, George.
Correct. Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees. We did send out a layout of Tate Avenue from the circle down to Kings Ferry. And our first iteration of this plan was to put the lane on the northwest side. Thank you, Marcus.
This one, right, George?
Correct. And what Marcus had asked us to do was, through the board, is to show the areas that have parking and the areas that you're not able to park. So you'll see some hatched areas in front of some driveways. So that just means that you can't park in that location. We wouldn't necessarily put hatching in front of someone's driveway. To give you an idea of the open spaces. So in between all the hatching is all these gray areas. And On this side of the road, we were somewhere around 115 spaces from the circle to the Kings Ferry. On the other side of the road, we're closer to about 75. So it's significantly less on the other side of the road. And there's more obstructions and more difficulties on the other side of the road. It slopes, there's more slopes on that side of the road. There's fire hydrants. There's more driveways, just more obstructions on that side. So it seems like the side that would work best would be the northwest side of the road, the Village Hall side.
George, if I may too, just for the public information, hard to see, but George also incorporated a sidewalk along that side of the road for, in case the board wants to incorporate a sidewalk on that side of the road for pedestrian access as well. George, you can just make sure people see that as well.
Correct. And that was another reason why that side of the road might be more desirable than the other side, because you can fit the sidewalk a little bit more easily. On the other side, there's slopes, there's hills, there's hydrants, utility pole. There's a little bit more difficulty putting it on the other side, but that would be a future. In talking to Marcus, that might be a future part of the project. But I think that the main thing that we were looking at was putting parking along that side of the street. So, and then we're using a 30-foot wide. It's a 30-foot wide road currently. So we had two 11-foot lanes and an 8-foot parking aisle, which is pretty standard. The driving lanes are on the narrower side. We like to see 12 feet, but 11 isn't too bad. That might even actually slow down some traffic. And that's pretty much it.
So are you saying the whole length? I'm sorry if I misunderstood you. Is there like, are you saying maybe from First Street to Kings Ferry on that side of the road?
I'm saying,
He's right from the circle all the
from
way.
all-
yeah, it starts from the circle on the bottom right.
Yeah,
Correct.
we got this, and
Yeah,
it was
that's-
difficult to
It's hard to
see
the
it.
bottom-
better now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the circle's here where my
Okay.
mouse is. And then it goes so all the way down. Then this is 4th Street, all the way to Henry Street. This goes from,
And George, those measurements you took, you're considering restriping? Is that what you're saying? Putting an 8-foot
Correct.
parking lane on the northwest side, so.
Correct. So that's taking, there's a little bit of a shoulder on each side. So if you split it right in half, it's 30 feet, it's 15 foot. So you have a 12 and you have a 3-foot little bit of shoulder on each side. So if you kind of squeezed the yellow line over to one side, would be the southeast side. If you squeezed it over to that side, just restriped it, didn't do any paving, and then try to put the parking lane, that's what it would look like. And to that point, it might be a little uncomfortable because you'll be riding the crown of the road, which is not always desirable either, but it would be subtle. So
Now, the southwest side, your 11-foot is from the yellow to the curb or a fog line?
it's from the curb. It's actually from the curb to the middle of the yellow, double yellow, from the middle of double yellow to
Yeah.
a white line, and then from the white line to the curb would be the 8-foot stall.
So on the opposite side of the parking I'm talking about, so your 11-foot, because that's tight.
Yeah, it is.
That's tight from center of yellow line to curb or to the
Correct.
fog line?
No, to the curb.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you're supposed to maintain like 12.5 or 12.6, you know?
Yeah, like I said a second ago, 12-foot is okay. You like 12.5. 12.5 is the more the better, right? So
Yeah.
it feels tight when you get that low. So like I was saying, it might slow people down because they might think, oh well, average car is about 6.5 foot wide, so you think 8 foot's a lot, but when you're driving, that foot on each side, you move a little bit of the steering wheel and you're in the yellow, and you're either up against the curb or you're up against the yellow line. So it'll slow you down for sure.
Can I just interject here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
My biggest concern is where the bus stops are, okay? Because I see it I'm right on the corner First and Tate. And I've seen
First.
numerous times where there's almost been accidents. And it's when the buses are coming.
Hmm.
You've got people parking on both sides of the street. I don't even think we can viably have parking on one side of the street, especially through those intersections. I don't want to see a child getting hit by a car. I really don't.
Talk about
And
this area right
and
here.
quite honestly, they're parking on corners, and it makes it even worse because it's closer to the intersection. I'm seeing people cross the double yellow line and almost hit other people. It's not a
Yeah.
good situation.
Well, I think George is just giving us some.
No,
data
I know,
here.
I know, but I
But-
don't think our goal here is to create a parking lane. Is
Well, then you'd have to put no parking on both sides, and that's not gonna accommodate anybody. You have to come up with some kind of resolution.
Well,
There
I
has to
think
be
that
maybe certain areas on Tate that you can park. You have to maybe separate it. One side you park here, the next, couple, but and then you're putting signs all over the place.
no, I know,
Yeah.
and that's why we're having the discussion. But I don't think our intent was to form a parking lane on one side or the other.
Well, I agree with what Dan's saying. I think we have to address our problem areas. And Dan's talking about on First Street, especially, is really dangerous.
Yep.
I mean, I come up out of, First Street, make a left-hand turn on Tate Avenue, and there's a car right there. All the way
Right
up-
there, and
All the way up First Street.
on each corner, and it's worse when the buses are coming because parents come and they park on the corners of the intersections, and it's more and more difficult, and I just don't want to see somebody get injured. I really don't.
George, what are your suggestions for the corners? Because we seem to be having not only on Tate Avenue, but several other places.
Fourth
There's-
Street too,
There's
but
corners.
Fourth Street's a little wider.
Can we do lining? Can we, right at the
Um,
corners to have not people not park there? Because like has been said before, we don't want to start putting up tons of signs, no parking, this or, signs all around the village on people's lawns.
Yeah, put yellow striping
Mhm.
and from 30 feet from the corner. No
Correct.
parking, 30 feet from the corner.
Yeah, that
Yellow.
would help out a lot. Just to do some teardrop kind of striping to keep people away from the corners because it's a safety issue. So that's why you noticed in our drawing we had at least 30 feet back from each intersection, some striping. That's one place where we would put the striping as opposed to the driveways. So we could revisit this and bring you another drawing at the meeting that kind of addresses the people parking on both sides of the street. That's we can look at this a little differently as opposed to trying to put a lane like Dan had mentioned, that trying to put a lane is maybe not the solution. Maybe the solution is better better management of the intersection. So
And then you have the first responders that there's concerns with, getting a piece of apparatus through there.
right.
So, yeah, I don't think we're looking to make
Now,
a parking lane, so to speak. We're we're trying to look to resolve the problem areas because it's just a matter of time that somebody has a head-on, accident crossing a double yellow or somebody gets injured. And I really wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
would we have to, Stephanie, would we have to have a, stop, no parking signs, or can striping suffice? Just to enforce that parking in these problem areas?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the police being able to. issue
I
tickets.
just Googled real fast. Says in New York State, you should not park within 32 feet of a junction unless otherwise indicated.
Yeah, that was on my permit test 45, 50 years ago.
I mean,
Right.
there's some
So
cars
is
that are
that-
parking right on the, right on.
Right, they are.
Is that standard? I mean, to tell our, for our policing
Correct.
aspect of it, is that a standard law?
We might have to add it on to our regulations and we
Yeah.
could just follow the state law. So what we can do is we can actually, the board wishes to call for a public hearing and then put that, so that way the police can enforce it. And that'll be
That's
every
the
single
first step.
intersection.
I mean, Officer Reg was great. There was a couple times where I saw a situation, he came and he's like, you're right. It's,
Yeah.
it's
No, I think we
tight.
should- I
It's
think we
a
should
maand
measure.
of time before something happens.
Mhm.
And he asked the person, he
I'm
went
gonna
over and asked
rectify
the people to kindly move their car, their vehicles, and they did. But, you can't always have that situation.
So I think this is a good first step. We can
Yeah, I
do
agree.
this.
Yeah.
And this will do every single intersection and the the police can enforce it and just
Right.
follow New York state law.
You know, even if they just say, hey, give them a warning
Correct.
first and say,
And then-
you know,
so they can
listen,
be
you
educated.
can't be within 32 feet of the intersection. Please, you know, we've had issues here
Yep.
before where there's almost been, you know, some near misses, and
But we should
maybe we
stripe
start
it.
that way.
So that it gives them, you know, stripe the limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can stripe it with the white lines and stuff. like
When's
that.
our
Yeah.
striping
Either
machine coming?
Yellow, do yellow.
Yellow, okay.
Yellow
Mhm.
will be no parking and you
Mhm.
can stripe that.
And that's it. No,
Mhm.
we're not putting a sign.
Yeah, you gotta, yeah, I mean, 32 feet back.
Yes. All right,
But
that
that's
sounds
the
good.
other problem we talked about was, remember when they had the party there, when Eileen brought it up? Where the,
On the far end towards.
yeah,
Kingsbury.
when they
Yeah.
parked on both sides of the road, and this is one of the things that,
Right.
what George is talking about, would help.
Mhm.
You couldn't even squeeze through there with one car,
Yeah. it was-
you know?
Really?
I mean, that doesn't happen all the time though, but
Mhm.
it does happen though, but it's not regular.
Right.
Well, I think one end down there we should look, because I was going down there today, is right past Lake Drive, the curve there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at, there was a red truck parked right there in that corner. So when you're coming from Bannon Avenue, or excuse me, from Kingsbury Road into the
Yeah, but
village,
it's right at the corner,
you
but
you
yeah.
can't even see where you're going around that
Yeah,
truck.
But that's a good point, right?
No park.
That
But
would be a
if
bad
it's-
spot for no parking on both sides of the road there.
Correct, but if it's 32 feet within the
Well,
curve,
that's not a corner, that's just a
Right.
curve.
that's a curb,
It's a
okay.
curve in the road.
Mhm.
So
Well,
that's
coming
a-
out of Lake
intersection.
there, it's gotta be
Yeah.
a 32 offset, 32-foot setback.
Right.
And then we had a resident that came in this year that also was concerned with Third and Henry Street, the top of Henry.
That
You
make-
can't
make-
see.
It makes sense.
Yeah, you can't see.
It's a blind spot right there.
All right, so more
Okay.
work to do.
So do you want me to draft something?
Do you want to call for a public hearing for the next meeting?
For the
George,
30
do you
foot?
think we'll be ready
I'm
for
gonna
a
have to look at our
public hearing
code and
with
check
the
out what-
whole package of things?
Yeah, so
Oh, Okay.
we
yeah.
can take the plan that we have now and just look at the intersections, put those teardrops in, show what you would be actually doing by putting that 32 feet in, and you can act on it from there.
Right.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
Yep, and then we can draft it.
Visualize it.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
because
I mean,
then
I'll
we
start it
have a
anyway.
workshop December 17th too, so we can decide if you want to set the public hearing for
All right.
January.
And I'll begin drafting it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, we can always change it.
All right, good. Thanks. Jen.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
There we go. The next is a motion to post the village administrator position. So I'd like to make a motion to post the village administrator position. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye. Can I add a comment to that,
Sure.
Mayor?
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what, Dan, I didn't do? I should have asked on a question, but
Yeah,
that's
so
fine.
I would like to make a motion that, that not only do we repost the position at the adjusted salary rate, which was suggested by the state of New York, I suggest that we do it for a period of 2 weeks. And that after 2 weeks, we can screen the applicants based upon the completed applications and their resumes for viable candidates in which the board agrees to interview. If there's no viable candidates that apply during the 2-week period, then I suggest that the board, based on a prior resolution, move forward with signing the waiver and resubmitting the waiver to New York State.
So that's a motion. Ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the next is a motion to call for a public hearing on January 7th regarding the overriding of the New York State property tax. This is something we do every year. You have to have this approved in case we do go over the property tax. So it's just precautionary. And the motion has to be done before we can override the tax. So I'd like to make a motion to call for a public hearing on January 7th regarding overriding the New York State property tax. Can I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And it's actually a local law. We'll
Right.
pass it.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll publish it.
Thank you. Okay. The next is I'm going to make a motion to approve the carryover of vacation days for the village administrator.
Just want to look at it will be 10 days if the board of souls approves.
Where's that on here? Is that on? Do I have an old one?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, probably have the old one.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Oh.
aye.
Okay. So, go to the reports. Whoops, sorry. Justice reports. I saw Justice Dan O'Neill in the hallway there a few minutes ago. So for November, I have one here for $1,504. Oh, no, 1,504. Oh, gosh. Okay, it was a long day. Police report for October 2024.
Okay, they had 144 calls in the month of October. This is the October report. There were 2 motor vehicle accidents, 12 property checks, 2 suspicious persons, 4 suspicious vehicles, 5 suspicious incidents. I was away when I heard that there was another robbery at the Shell station.
Yep.
They were right on it, and with their quick response, they got they got the suspect down in court, and I believe they got
Ossining.
an Ossining.
Yeah.
So, we're on it. That's why the police force is here, so. And that's all I have for them.
Okay. Anthony, the highway report for October 2024.
October 2024. 77 tons of garbage, 17 tons of bulk and dumpsters, 10 tons of dumpsters only. A lot of other stuff. Total garbage is 104 tons. We moved a light on Albany Post Road from Gallon Measure to the new pole. Con Ed hooked it up and put a new head on a decorative light pole in Westchester, which I did notice was good. We worked on the pickleball courts. They got blocked for the salt shed that I'm familiar with. I think that the salt shed is completely covered now,
Yes.
right? Okay, so that was
good
fixed.
news.
That's good news. This was all stuff that happened back in October, helped out with the parades and stuff like that. They've done a lot of stuff, a lot of vehicle maintenance. Hold on a minute. I want to get to here's the pictures of the salt shed. The salt shed is repaired. I know we had some issues with some neighbors over there, and that is all taken care of. The guys were busy. They did a nice job. They fixed the stairs at Lens Cove, I see. And you all have seen that the parking lot at Fat's House is completed now, and we are allowed to utilize it for municipal parking. The light that they put in over there, Marcus, was the key to the whole job, I think.
Thank you.
I mean, that really,
Yeah.
because that was really a dark spot and a blind
Mhm.
spot for people crossing into Fat's House. So it really does help out a lot. And I'm happy with
notice it.
our decision to move forward
It
with
came
that.
out nice.
Looks good.
It came out good.
Came out terrific.
And hopefully we can maintain it and keep it nice. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Wastewater plant, treated wastewater, 7,234,000 gallons, sludge removal, 130,000 gallons. Report submitted to Westchester County Department of Health, 6, lab reports to DEC, 6. Yeah, we were lucky with the precipitation this year, so far, 0.39 inches. And then from 10/28 to 10/30, the jet and reline sewer main from Lake Street North to White Street on Albany Post Road. And that has really helped the infiltration into our lines. It seemed to be one of the lines that we were having major issues with. I also see that the DEC did an inspection. Everything is satisfactory here, and that the inspection was done on November 19th. Okay, building department.
Okay, the building department, they had 2 orders to remedy. This is also the October report for them. They issued 36 permits. They have 41 inspections required for newly issued permits. They've issued 7 certificate of occupancies. They are now, permits have been issued for the building and site work for the AMS project. And Village Squares project is still under final review. And, they're always busy, so.
Thank you, Bob. Buchanan engine, 0 structure fires, 7 EMS assist, automatic alarms, 1 public assist, police assist, 4 gas emergency, 1 mutual aid given, 3, and for a total of 16 alarms for the month of October. All right, thank you. And let's see. I've got that. I've got all the reports done. Okay, there is no prosecutor's report. Let's move on to Stephanie, attorney's report.
Well, there's no prosecutor's report, but I have been in touch with Ingrid and she is busy working with them.
Okay, good.
And
Thank
getting,
you for meeting, with everyone. And
oh, is that since the last meeting?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Okay, so we met with Ingrid in the
Okay,
building
good.
department, and spent a couple hours trying to work things through, and get on the same page. And since then, Ingrid has been CCing me on things that she's helping with. And so it looks like it's moving along and there will be more, violations issued, prosecuted if need be. So I don't know why she didn't put that in a report. I'll remind her that a quick report is probably a good thing. And the only other thing I have is the cell tower. I reached out, Teresa, you were asking me about that. I reached out again and, Mr. Comey, Attorney Comey has not yet heard back from tower company. They had promised before, Thanksgiving, but it's only, so I reached out to him
Right.
today again. He said he'll remind him. We'll let him know.
Mhm.
And then I do have one or two things for executive session, but that's it for open.
All right, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Marcus, what do you have for us?
A couple of things. I'm going to repeat some stuff that we talked about the last workshop, since that's a workshop and it's an actual official meeting. So some things I want to repeat. The first thing I want to say is, I just want to say how proud I am of working in such a small village and working as a team. Everything goes on. So a couple of things I want to mention. Bob talked about Shell gas station, what happened. The police department responded. The police department, the fire department was there. They called Peter. Peter showed up at 1 o'clock in the morning. They were there at 5 o'clock. Peter got the contractors to seal the place up. So the police, fire department, and building department all worked together between 1 to 5 o'clock in the morning to get that place sealed up for the day. And then they got the criminal down in Osling. So again, working together. Again, working together with the board. I know Anthony doesn't want to say anything, but if it wasn't for Anthony, we never would have got the block to do the salt shed. We've been waiting for weeks. We kept that getting blown off. And thanks for Anthony with his connections. We were able to get the block within 24 hours and get that done. So
Oh, I don't know. Oh, with the
The block.
mafia block.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Uh-oh.
I didn't say it. I said block.
Conversation is going downhill
I
fast.
thought one of you was gonna say it.
No, that's why I said
We got in
block.
trouble many years ago over
I know.
that, so.
That's why I say block. So again, we're all working together for a common goal, and I want to thank everybody for working together on that. We talked briefly about the DPW garage. We actually are talking about moving the 2 dumpsters for the metal and for the air conditioning down to the sewer treatment plant. We're going to use some of the millings to do like a little base. I got George on the line too. We worked together as a team to create like a little base with the millings that we had to create a base for that. And then we'll get those 2 dumpsters moved out there. So we're going to work
Yeah.
on that right now. So just to get I know it's a problem. We want to resolve those issues.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Okay, so we're
Okay.
gonna get that out of the way. One thing that is a new item on the sewer lining, as the mayor mentioned, we actually got the project done. But we need a small change order. That's why I wanted George to be here. The final cost came a little bit more expensive. It was only $2,400. But George, since you're here, can you explain, the original bid price was $112,750. We got a final bill today. So George, can you explain what that increased cost was?
So yeah, thanks, Marcus. The original bid had approximately 2,000 linear feet. We went up to 2,050. So we were just a little bit over that extra 50 feet was the $2,400. So that's where we're at. Basically the original as-built, for every 100 feet, it was off by something like 2 feet. So when they went out and they measured all the lines, it added up to 50 feet.
So the additional cost, the additional change order will be $2,400. I want the board to make a motion to approve that. Because when you go out to bid, we have to match dollar for dollar what we spend. So after my report, the board's going to move that motion. I would appreciate that for our auditing purposes and make sure we follow the books. The 4th Street Pump Station, the board wanted to get the new gate and fencing. That's been completed. That's done.
Oh, that's great.
All right, so that project's been complete. It was completed today. So that's done. Want to make sure the board knows about that. Fat Sal parking lot, as Anthony mentioned, again, that was a team effort. I knew it was dark in there. We're trying to see what kind of light we can have. Talking to George said, we have a light in our parking lot that looks like this. He was able to get us the information. Scott was able to get it. We were able to use the old arms that's up there, and we were able to get that done. So again, working together to make the village better. We discussed at the workshop, I'm bringing it up again, we still have the drought warning for the county please, I'm asking everybody to try to conserve as much water as you can until we get out of this drought. As I mentioned, I asked the big users, the biggest users, the sheetrock plant, which I don't think they're going to use, they're going to reduce, but we asked all the big users to try to reduce their water consumption as much as possible to help offset what the drought is. We're at 59%, we should be at 81% at this time of the year of the water. So that's where we stand. Good news for the village in regards to the water a little bit is Peekskill has their own water system. They have no drought warning yet. So we actually work with George again to try to get more water from Peekskill to try to reduce our water coming from Montrose. But Montrose water actually comes from New York City, which has the drought warning. So we're trying to do our part as well to try to reduce that usage. Just as I discussed at the last meeting, I went to a NICOM conference to talk about use of public facilities. I provided the board with some information regarding the use of public facilities for your own education. And if you have any questions, NICOM and myself will be willing to work with you on that if you have any questions on that. As I discussed the last meeting, we had an issue with the leaves being dumped behind the baseball field. We're trying to find a solution. So as I stated, I reached out to the village of Croton, and the village of Croton is willing to take out back leaves and we'll pay whatever the county charges to pick up the leaves, but we'll be able to dump it at the village of Croton, and the county will pick them up. And the estimate is it'll probably cost between $2,300 to $2,500 a year to remove our leaves. So that way we don't have that issue of all the leaves being piled up behind the baseball field.
I think that's money well spent.
Yes, so, and that's a benefit.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem. And I know equipment's beginning to sink into the leaves, so hopefully that little by little would reduce that impact behind the baseball field. The good news, the village board, again, working together. Again, we talk about lining the streets. We're going to get a line painter that will allow us to paint the double yellow lines as well as the white lines. And now we're going to stripe the lines which we've been talking about for the parking on Tate. We'll hopefully have the machine. We can start striping the lines ourselves, not to hire a contractor, pay out-of-pocket costs, and also wait for their timeline to do the line striping.
Is that kind of cold this time of the year, or can you still?
You got to
Anthony
wait.
would not, you can still stripe. All right.
All right, so we'll work on that, but and that's a good point. They actually have restrictions in regards to how you put the paint down, so we have that information as well. One of the building inspector issues that we talked about was 3151 West. I'm sorry, 3151 Albany Post Road. That's the Preston House that's been abandoned for over 2 years. The building department has been trying to have the property owner maintain that property. It's not being maintained. Work with Ingrid to actually get the right notification in court. But at the same time, we're going to come back to the village board on this, we're in a workshop on the 17th. The building department can provide the board with a report and the condition of the property to follow our code to allow us to hire a contractor to clean up the property and try to maintain it and try to clear up that site. But it is terrible looking property. So, and it's our gateway into the village. So at the next meeting, we'll have the building department providing you a report as well. And the village board have to take action, and we can talk about that action at that meeting. Update on the pool, as the board requested. I went back to the pool consultant. We talked about it. He said the price of $300,000 was to replace the same pool we have right there, right now, to replace it with the ADA compliant pool, as we discussed. It'll be $500,000 to replace that waiting pool. That's the pool, the mechanical, the plumbing, the filtering system, everything else. Each water feature is about $50,000 for the water feature. And again, that's the number he's throwing out there. Until we go out to bid, we don't know what the real number is going to be. So at this point, those are the numbers. If we want to continue with the process, and also for him to do the entire work, or working with the village board, we're doing a bid spec, review the bid specs when they get responded to, doing a recommendation, do the inspections, but his work will be about $15,000, which I think is reasonable for the amount of work they have to do. So he's ready to move forward with the village and try to create a design, everything else. But the process will be that design will be, and the scope will be permitted to the County Department of Health to get their comments first. And after those comments are provided to him, then he can go out to actually do a final scope of work to go out to bid. So he's ready to go whenever the village wants to move forward, willing to answer any questions. If you want to come back to a workshop on the 17th, he's willing to do that. So he said, whatever the village board wants, I'm here to help. That's however you want.
Maybe it's good for him to come back.
On the 17th?
17th, yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, and was mentioned before, we have right now 200,000 in our rec fund that we can put towards that.
Mhm.
And I'd also like to have the recreation committee here on the 17th if they can make it.
All right, good. I'll ask them we can make it. I'll let the board know right away.
And then we have the rec fees coming in from AMS that could go
Mhm.
towards that as well, right?
Correct.
Which,
So he's not gonna move forward any engineering until we give him the okay.
Let's give it the okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have a final
And
discussion.
the idea would be is also, do you want, he designed a pool that fits within the area. Do you want a bigger pool? Do you want the same size? That changes the whole scope of work. So he wants to get a detailed explanation of what you guys want so he can start working on the scope, especially Department of Health. It's very specific in the process of what has to be happening. Just want to make sure again, the gentleman that lives on Westchester Avenue had a light issue and he wanted to have a light, and that got reported. The police department drove up and down Westchester Avenue. They don't seem to have a problem. We ordered the arm, we got a light. I want to make sure the board wants to move forward with that. Or do you want the area to stay the way it is before we actually installed another light?
How much was it for the light again?
We have the light, we took the light away from Spat's house. So we have the light. We ordered the arm was $120. The additional cost would be the cost of electric from forever to put a light up on the property.
So the police are saying we don't really need to have that light there.
According to the police, that's correct.
So, if we put it there for that individual, what's gonna stop? Suddenly we have a bunch of people showing up wanting lights in front of their houses. Are we gonna have our same situation we had with the curbs?
everybody wants a curb cut.
That's right.
It just blossoms.
I mean, that's my opinion on that. I don't know what else feels about it, but I think it's kind of, if it's not needed, it's not needed. I mean, everyone would like to have more light, yes, but
How the rest of the board
Some people
feels.
have too much
before we
light.
put anything
Ah.
out.
I haven't seen the area. I don't really know for sure. I'll take the cop's word for it though.
Mhm.
That it seems if it's well lit for them, I think it's well lit for everybody else. But like, again, I haven't seen the area, so I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
You
know.
have the address.
yeah.
I don't
you
want you
remember
to
the
say it
address?
now, but do you have it?
235?
Oh.
235 Westchester.
I'm
So,
gonna take a drive right after I leave here.
all right. And let me know.
And I'll let you know.
We'll have we'll have the extra arm and the light to put it in if we have an accident and light goes out, we have an extra light and arm to replace it. Or we can put it up there, whatever the board wants.
Does it assist in is it on the sidewalk side?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. So
Is
text
Is it
me.
on a curve?
No, I was thinking in the middle of the block somewhere.
It's a straightaway?
Yeah. Mhm.
But the way I understood it, it was too dark when the children wanted to play. I'm going to go look at it.
Yeah.
And then I'll.
Yeah.
give you
So if the
more
board wants to look at it, text me one way or the other. I'm good.
All
I
right.
mean, it's not a
For
formal
me, I-
opinion. It's
Yeah,
an informal thing.
I'll take a ride after.
Okay, let me know.
Yeah.
If the children want to play, they're gonna need that light on their side of the street, because they live across the street from it.
Mhm.
I just want to see how dark it is that he did come here to
Yes.
share that with us.
Not the first
So
time
I
he's
just
come
want
here.
to see.
Yep.
Well, it's twofold because you don't want to shine it in somebody else's house either. So,
Absolutely not.
Right. You might complain, somebody else saying, now we got a light that's bothering me at night. So you can have that too. Yes. Mhm.
All right.
So like I said, I just want to work together, make a decision together, however the
Okay.
board wants to say, let me know. A couple meetings ago, they have also a resident from 3 Downhill Court that had a light supposed to shining in their house. So Scott did find a reflector is on order. That should be in a couple of days. We'll have that installed. So just to let you know, that's still pending to be done. And we did discuss battery storage at the workshop. You just bring it up again to the general public that we attended a seminar with the county of Westchester. The mayor was there as well. Kieran Outhouse was there as well from the fire department. And
planning
we,
board. And planning board.
and yep, and the planning board member, that's correct. And they discussed what the regulations are. And it's interesting, just to let you know, because we just got our first application for a power wall on the outside of a house. So the building department is looking at the sample. They might be coming to the village board now just to get the regulations to actually how we're going to control. So we're not talking just battery storage, but battery storage in people's houses as well. So our sample code, so the building department is going to be coming back with the regulations or recommendation to put in the code so we can actually inspect these before they go in and make sure they're built accordingly and not create a fire hazard for the house and the neighbors. So they're working on that. But we also found out during that meeting, even though it's a large battery storage, anything over 80 megawatts is actually control of the state of New York, and there's no local control or zoning that takes place. So that's a concern for the village, but we got the Indian Point property. So in the future, if the state realizes that, just to let the public know, the board will have no control over something like that happening. So I want to let you know that as well. And then I have we have police negotiations. I want to update the board at that meeting in executive session. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus.
Right. So in speaking about the pool, I noticed at the tree lighting, there's a lot more younger children here in the village. So this is something we really have to address with the kiddie pool. I was amazed how many children we had out there. First, I'll start with the tree lighting. It was a wonderful event. There was a good crowd. It was a little chilly, but it was a good crowd. I'd like to thank once again everyone who made it possible. Jackie Pasquale, our rec supervisor, did a great job. Our highway department was out doing some work. We have our police department. We had Westchester County Sheriff's Department, who always backs us up and helps us with events. We have Buchanan Engine that always supports our events also. The Beautification Committee, they always do a great job decorating. Also, the highway department decorates out there. And who did I forget? Everyone that came out too. It was great. The kids were so cute. They really were. It was a great event. So thank you. Thank you, Jackie Pasquale, our rec supervisor, for pulling that all together for us. I also want to remind everyone that our workshop has been changed the date. It's going to be December 17th instead of December 24th. I don't know too many people that would be here on Christmas Eve. I don't know of anybody that would be here Christmas Eve. Also, I was at a meeting. It was a what they call a tabletop exercise with Enbridge, the gas line company. Our police chief was there. Amanda from the school district. I cannot pronounce her name. I apologize. I'm not even going to try, but she's in charge of safety. And it was kind of an eye opener as we were talking. They gave an example, and it was an exercise that we all had to go through. And we had a conversation with the school district on how we could work together. We're working on, and I think it's next Tuesday, Bob. I know you're a liaison to the police department if you'd like to come next Tuesday, so that we can work on our emergency preparedness plan for the village. It was an eye opener of the work we need to do that. So that will be next Tuesday. I will just recheck with the chief the time on that. Also with the tree lighting, Dan, I want to thank you for suggesting Brian Snyder as to
Absolutely.
light the tree. She was adorable. She had a great time. She really enjoyed it. And it was a great community, everybody
I agree.
supporting her, and it was great. So
Yep.
thank you for recommending her to light the tree.
Absolutely.
And then I have some good news. Oh, boy, good news is good. So I was asked to be on a call this morning. George, are you still on? George Palmer?
I'm still here.
Okay, George. Just checking.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I got a call from the state. We have a decommissioning oversight board meeting this Thursday evening. And they wanted to have a conversation with me, and I brought George in on it because George is probably the most knowledgeable with our sewer treatment plan and all the grants and everything going on. So George will be Thursday night at the DOB meeting. He will be doing a presentation, and we will be discussing the money that's available. So basically, it's, they wanted to know the status of our sewer plant, how we're moving forward. We talked about the consent order, and thank God the consent order for us, the Village of Buchanan, is almost complete. And George, what did you say? We should be February, we should be finished with the DEC consent order for the sewer treatment plant?
Yeah, the DEC said they're just about ready to sign off in, end of January is our reporting period. We have to collect the data from, or the last month of December, and then we report in January as to our progress. And it was nice to hear that the DEC said we're just about ready to sign off. So that was a nice thing to hear.
Yeah, this has been a few years of being under the gun with that. So we went over the grant status. 2022 was the 1.6 with the WQIP. This year we were awarded the 2.7 for the WIA grant. And they did say in December there would be an announcement for the WQIP, the other grant that was put in this year. So usually the governor does it in December. They asked when we could start. And we said as soon as possible, and hopefully as soon as we get the money, we'll have shovels in ground. Also, we had a discussion about, the town and the supervisor, that they are willing to, let us have the 6.75 million that's in the fund. So, we'll be discussing it more. The state wants to discuss more at the DLB. So if the board could be there on Thursday night at 6 o'clock out at the town, if not, it's always taped. The original amount on the funds was $7 million. There was money given to one of the unions, so it's 6.75, but I'm going over the agreements again because it's been a while. And it's also with accrued interest.
That's this Thursday?
Yeah, this Thursday, 6 o'clock.
That's.
So that's really good news. This is something we've been working on for a while, and it's, the state seems to be interested in moving forward, and we're just waiting for the WQIP award, to see where we are with money. And, George, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, Mayor, the DEC was interested in moving forward. That was good news.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
There was, really want to move things along, so that's good.
yes. So that's all I have for today. Dan, would you like to start? We'll go right down the line.
Sure. So I just had a couple items. Do we have a status on the employee handbook? Where are we with that?
We actually have a meeting on Thursday with a consultant. We already have one meeting. We have a meeting to go over some policies and procedures, so it is moving forward.
Okay, and just to add to that, I think, I've spoken to some people down county, and, I'd like to start maybe getting the village up to snuff a little bit technology wise.
Mhm.
And, I know there's some HR tools that we should be looking at that, I'd like to have interest with the board, perhaps, Workday or, anything that can help payroll.
Oh,
Oh, speak up a
Um,
little bit.
Anything that can help with payroll, maintaining, absentee,
It's on. really? Okay.
absentee records, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
The other thing was any status on the Blakely Avenue property?
Oh, they actually came in with a demolition permit. Blakely Avenue, the
Blakely,
village one.
where
I'm sorry.
Tompkins was gonna walk the property?
They actually provided all the insurance. All the insurance was good.
Okay,
And I think the insurance expires on the 17th of December. So they're planning to go up there, clear out an area, work the
Yeah.
area, and then
okay,
come,
so
and then come
still
back.
interested, okay.
Then come back. Sorry.
All right.
I forgot. I confused that with Linda.
And just a reminder, the St. Patrick's Parade Committee meets tomorrow, 7 PM, Buchanan Firehouse. The more people we get involved, the better. Again, we're looking for any recommendations for parade aid and grand marshal. So everybody, if you think of anybody out there, just please reach out to myself or Steve Laker. And then again, just to reiterate what the mayor said was, just a great job by all involved with the tree lighting. And our sponsors, the people that donated gift cards and bikes and that sort of thing. Thank you to everybody that was involved in that end of it too. So, and everybody enjoy the holiday season, please.
We're still here. One more meeting, Dan.
Yeah, well, a workshop.
A workshop, yeah, yeah, not too many people. A week before Christmas are going to be concerned what we're doing here, right? Anthony, what do you have for us this evening?
I just want to also compliment Jackie Pasquale for the job that she did on the tree lighting and everybody that attended. It was a great event. We had the young kids come out, and it's nice. It seems to be growing every year, and it's nice to see that the community still can bond together under our tree and have a good time. I want to congratulate Dominic. I feel like this is good for you girls over there, and you seem to like Dominic, and he is a paisano. So I now finally got one on working here with me. So anyway, Marcus, I just want to tell you, City Carding also runs a program for the leaves as well through the county. They may actually come to us instead of us going to Croton, maybe worth our while just to look into it.
See what the price is, yeah.
Yeah. And, I want a question. Have we used the AMS consultants yet? That's what I've been meaning to ask you that. So on the progress of the construction over there,
Yes.
has anybody been there from our team?
Yes.
Third-party vendor that we
Yeah.
hired.
Yes. The one we hired, LaBella.
LaBelle, yeah.
Yeah, LaBella's been there on site reviewing they were doing, before they poured the concrete, there was some material.
Piles.
Well, yeah, the
Piles.
piles. So they were
Piles.
there to inspect the piles. They started putting piles in. LaBella was over there doing inspection.
Yeah, I see them. That's why I'm questioning, because I see what they're doing
We
over
actually
there.
had a meeting, George, myself, LaBella, Peter. We all had a sit-down meeting with LaBella and everything,
Mhm.
and we actually get a timeline, what they're doing, everything. And LaBella has been there reviewing everything and approving everything, and then providing everything to Peter and make sure that everything's covered. So,
And
good
do you-
question, yes.
Do you have a progress report on the construction over there at all has anybody put eyes on it? I mean, I can only see from the road.
Right.
Seems like they're moving pretty rapidly.
They're talking about pouring concrete in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I see that they're drilling and, yeah.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
good. I hope they get the concreted before the weather hits.
Yep.
You know, that'll be great. I'm
Exactly.
sure that's what they're aiming at. Another thing is, my wife said she saw a question about the overnight parking, in the village. It has been suspended.
Correct.
And somebody was asking when does it start? And just to
Mhm.
let everybody know that it has been suspended, and you are allowed to park on the streets. Just remember that.
Post on Facebook.
Was that where it was?
Yeah.
I don't know. She goes on the social media all the time. Let me see. And Marcus, you made a comment about a team effort before, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that we all do work well together now. We've had our ups and downs, and we will probably have a lot more ups and downs, but as a team, seem to be working well together now. And you're right, the firemen, the police, everybody, and they were all out there the other night for the tree lighting, and it was a team effort, and it was shown the other night with the tree lighting, how, a small community like we have here with our different departments can get together and actually make this a special event, and including our meetings and our little government here. We do a good job, and we just got to be consistent, and it seems to be going in the right direction. So thank you for bringing that up. That's all I have there.
And Anthony, with the snow removal too. So if they know it's going to snow.
Right.
They've got to come off. the
Yeah.
road.
Well, we have the snow emergency, some kind of warning system up.
Yeah.
Right?
Code red, yeah.
Code red.
But I just like, because then sometimes
Yeah.
people are working, they're going to sleep and it starts to snow
And
and,
don't check their emails.
yeah,
Yeah. So don't park on the streets when it's snowing.
there you go.
Okay.
There it
That
is.
I
sums
mean, it's
it up.
pretty obvious.
Thank you. All right, Bob, what do you have for us?
I don't really have too much. I did not make the tree lighting. I was in transit coming back from Florida, so I didn't make it here in time, but it's always a good event for the village. I've done it myself for many years. I decorated that tree myself for 25 years. So
Ah,
they did a great job out there, and, it's great that the highway department does as much as they do for that, and everyone else that gets involved with that. I do have a question, about the streetlights on Albany Post Road down towards the railroad bridge. There's like 3 or 4 of those streetlights that are out. It's very dark there.
I'll
So,
have that checked tomorrow.
yeah, they're LED lights that we installed
Next to the railroad bridge?
right by Rolinda.
Yes.
In that whole area there, there's like 3 lights right there, they're all out. Been
Gotcha.
out for a while.
Okay.
And that's all I really have right now, so I'm just kind of getting over my driving tiredness.
Yeah, I bet.
What?
I
Driving
bet.
so long and getting
Oh,
tired, so,
All
and that's all I have. And I'll tell everyone happy holidays
Okay.
on
We got
the,
one more meeting.
And on the
on the next
17th
meeting.
again.
I'll do it
There
again,
you
yes.
Okay, Wilder, what do you have for us?
So I can't say it enough. Everyone has said about the tree lighting. Thank you to Ryan, thank you to Jacqueline, and thank you to everyone who came out and who supported to organize such a nice event. It was actually my first time at the tree lighting, and I was taken aback at how beautiful it was and how warm it was. It brought people together. That's the way the village should always look. In terms of things that I've been doing, I was invited to a district meeting by the superintendent. He wanted me to meet all the administrators so that I could share my background with them, invite myself into their schools, which I did. That led to a meeting with with Dr. Ruler. She is the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. And we are working to, I can't speak.
I'm
if you
sorry,
guys are.
I'm sorry.
We are working together to bring forth a parent advocacy group in the district so that we can bring parents together and have them come to events in the school and create a bigger presence for them. I would also like to give a shout out to Jill Davis, the director of the Hendrick Hudson Free Library. Jill, in my opinion, is the example of what a leader should look like. She empowers her staff. They come forward with many, many ideas, and she gives them the reins to do what they need to do to support the community. She has calendars. This calendar is for children. All the events that she has on a monthly basis for the children are listed here. This is on a December calendar, it's a November calendar, but she also has an adult and teen calendar. Some of the events that you'll see are, she has Italian and ESL classes. She has authors come in to talk to the students. She has a chess club. She has exercise classes. She has Easy Pass services, passport services, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you, Jill. You're doing a great job. And I am a member of the Seniors Club. I have to tell you, anyone 55 and over should join. I enjoy my visits on Tuesdays at 1:00. Not only do you get to socialize and meet people in the neighborhood, but you get a little history lesson. And Dan, this one's for you. So I learned today that we had a huge monument, or what they call an honor roll, outside. It was built, I believe, in 1940, and it listed the names of our veterans here in Buchanan from World War I, World War II. Somehow that has gone missing. No one knows where it went. And I've asked, and no one has an answer. So the question is there any way, other than just the flags, that we can honor our veterans on a daily basis?
There is a monument down at the pavilion.
But how, is it a small one?
No, it's a big stone.
It's a headstone.
Stone, yeah.
But I
But-
agree. I don't know whatever happened to that.
Before our time, yeah.
That's when I wish we.
Well, I think there should be something more. And if there are ideas that can be floated, why not? We have now more than just these veterans. This is World War I, World War II. We have many other veterans. I'm going to go look at the monument, but you're in charge. I don't want to step on your toes, but anything that I can do to make this larger for the community, that would be nice. The seniors brought it up. It's special to them.
Of
Well,
course.
I think we should look into it, and I think it should be something that should be in the middle of the village and not
Back there.
Westchester Avenue by the pavilion. It would, to me, it would be, I think, better served to be in.
More
Monroe
visible.
Park, right in the circle.
Right
of
out of the
trees,
circle.
Yeah,
We've got
So
room
we-
there too.
we could, we could spearhead some kind of a, maybe I would welcome that with open
Yeah.
arms. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it's World War I, World War II down by the pavilion, but we don't have for the other wars, Korean and Vietnam and.
Oh,
So, yeah,
Iraqi.
I would be in agreement to try and
That'd be
move
great.
that along. So
all right.
I'd
Thank
be more
you.
than willing to work with you on it too. So if you want to do it together,
I'm ready to go.
let's go.
Thank you.
So I forgot, speaking of veterans, I forgot Pearl Harbor. December 7th, this Saturday. It's Peekskill's turn to sponsor it. That will be from 10:30 to 12:30. Is that at the senior center? In Peekskill? Right by the library there. And I apologize, I forgot to mention something. I would like to do a moment of silence now for a longtime village resident, John Tangent. So if we could just take a moment. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Any comments from the floor? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you first, Okay. Oh, yes, Cindy, thank you for reminding me. Okay, I'd
Yeah,
like
we
to
need to make a motion.
yeah, I'd like to make a motion for the change order for the pipelining on Albany Post Road, and the fee is $2,400. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Cindy. Okay, any comments from the floor? Good? No? Okay. Okay, sure.
Hi, I'm Lori Birch, 3 Donahue Court. I just wanted to ask a couple of questions. What prompted just curious, what prompted the discussion about the lanes on Tate Avenue and parking and sidewalks and such? Where did that originate?
We had a discussion, we had an issue over the summer. There was a couple parties going on at the same time on both sides of the street. And we had issues with getting cars through. And Eileen brought it up as well, about, there was some flea markets, there was parties going on. Wilda brought it up too, she was,
I responded to what she said.
oh yeah. And there was issues that we had, and it wasn't so much, and then Dan witnessed something, with a bus down by his house, and it's something that I think we should have taken care of a long time ago. And come
Right.
up with some kind of a plan, and I think that's really pretty what attributed to getting to it now.
Right. So as it stands currently, are we still allowed to once in a while park on Tate Avenue? Because I see it happen. Sometimes it's short term. Other times, the cars that are just always there and you have to
Yeah.
veer around them.
Mhm.
But is that just going to stay status quo as it is?
Well,
Other than,
Yeah.
I know you want to put the 32-foot lines in,
Yeah.
which I totally agree with, but not just Tate Avenue. There's places all over the village where it's a problem. Coming out of Craft Lane, when you go to make a left, that side of Lindsay Avenue that you're turning onto is wider, but everybody parks from the corner up and there's nowhere to turn, it's nowhere to put your car.
Mhm.
So is that something that's going to be considered for the whole village?
I believe
I
so.
think we should
striping?
look at
Yeah.
the other areas that we deem as being problems. Absolutely.
Right.
I think it should be an entire village, enforced in the entire village. I believe that it should be every turn, every corner should have a 32-foot setback.
Yep.
Right. No, I agree.
And just for personnel apparatus for the fire department or even emergency stuff like that. I mean, if it's almost code, like you said, the state code, then it should be enforced throughout the village.
Right. Now, what happens when you're doing that 30-foot strip and you come across a driveway? You're not going to put that yellow in front of the
No,
driveway.
no, absolutely not. No, no.
It just stays as
Well,
is.
yeah.
Okay, good to know. I heard Mr. Serrano say that they were looking into a blocker or a filter for the light on.
Yes, no, that was your house, yes.
Is that one single light or are they going to look at all the lights?
Yep. Based on your concern, we're addressing your light only at this point.
Okay,
If anybody else has a concern, we can deal with those later on, but you're the only one so far that brought it up, so we're trying to take care of your issue first.
okay, all right. Now, that light actually went out for a while and we didn't tell anybody because it was nice. But they went and replaced it, so now we're back
We'll have
to,
it fixed soon.
yeah, that's no problem. I appreciate that. You also mentioned something about a vacant house. Is that like across from the diner almost that you're talking about?
Right next to the firehouse.
Oh, next
Yeah.
to the firehouse. Okay. And you talked about it possibly being cleaned up and to code. Who pays for that? The
The-
owner?
Yeah, what the process will be, the village, just, but that would explain the whole process. The building department has to probably report to the village board. The village board accepts that report.
Right.
Then at the January meeting, they have to have a hearing. Just give you the whole process. The property owner can come in and answer any questions. Within 10 days after that, if he doesn't clean it up, they will hire a contractor to clean everything up and it gets put on his tax bill.
Okay. I didn't hear any of that mentioned, so it just,
I didn't want to
Sure.
get some more details, so we're gonna go into it, but
Mark,
good question.
Mark,
Thank you.
Sure.
Question, have they been paying their taxes?
Yes, tax has been paid.
well, that's good. to
Cindy and
know.
Sharon will tell me right away.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. Thank you. And just a comment with the cars, there are more and more people living here. We have, oh.
There you go, much better.
Can you hear me? Eileen, hello. Can you hear me now? Sound like a Verizon commercial. Anyhow, so over the years, there are more and more cars here in the village. There's more and more people living here. And as every other community, we have some overcrowding issues.
So that's what the car situation is. It just seems to be building and building over the years. So if there are no more comments from the floor, we are going to go into executive session for personnel, just personnel. So I'd like,
Negotiation.
okay, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for negotiation/personnel. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, everyone.